Hello there, welcome to another week in our garden. Now we're at the pea and the bean net. We've picked the peas and I've removed the haulms, and late after I'd set all the tomatoes I had about 10-12 seeds left, so rather than try and keep them through, I set them thinking I'll put them somewhere in the garden later. And it came to later and I still hadn't found anywhere, and then I decided I was going to put them where the peas were. So I put them in. There was 12 in all. They're very late. I put tubes in so I can put water to the root, thinking that the drought would still last a little longer. Put a mulch on top, as you can see. I bought a bag of the cheapest compost I could find, and I mixed it with some chopped straw that I got from Moles, and it's made a good mulch. So I pop that round them just to keep the top moist. Works very well. So hopefully, providing the late blight doesn't come in and get them, we'll have a second crop of tomatoes. They're all carrying flowers now, so they might be alright, but there was no loss because I wouldn't have kept the seed through anyway. Now I'll get Diane to put the picture of the rest of the peas when we took the lot and the first picking of the bean. Now it's late afternoon and we've just picked the rest of the peas. We've actually took the haulms up as well, so I've got that to clear up next. A few of the climbing French beans to start the season. There's quite a few more of those to come yet. As usual, always a few courgettes every day. You can see here there's still quite a few beans to pick. We'll probably pick these this evening or tomorrow morning. But we had quite a downpour last night. It woke me up in the night, it was that heavy. But when I came down here and looked at the soil this morning, there's hardly any damp left in it. It's more or less all evaporated out. So there is rain about, folks. We just didn't get enough. Now today we're going to harvest some salad crops, and I want to lift one of the cauliflowers and a cabbage because we're going to use them. Now it's overcast and a little cold, and as he says that, as usual, the sun comes out. It's a lot colder, so we're going to have 1 or 2 hot meals now. So we'll take a cabbage and a collie, but we need the salads because we're still eating a lot of salads. Right, we'll take this one. There's only one more of these left. It's very firm. I do think actually they're getting towards starting to blow, so we'll take this one, then we'll take the round ones for coleslaw later. This will do coleslaw, but we're going to have this and a cauliflower for the hot meals. Okay, it's another big one, nice and clean. That'll do nicely. It's actually very wet from the rain. That's unusual. There are. We'll transport it like that. That's nice. It's very heavy. Right, we'll get one of those large cauliflowers, and then that'll fill that trug, and then we'll lift the salad crops. Okay. Now these are the fairway cauliflowers. As you can see now, they're really starting to, as the head is swelling, it's really pushing the leaves out now. We do have the fleece still on top, so that's quite alright, but I think we're going to take that one purely because it's the largest. Now I'm told that that little bit of purpling you're getting on it is actually good for you, so if you see it, make sure you eat it. One huge cauliflower with a little bit of sun blush on it. That will be very nice. While I'm got the the tunnel open, I'm just going to take these 2 lettuce and put them in the aisle here out of the way, and then I can close the net down. Lovely lettuce, but the lettuce is going over so fast with the hot weather we've had. You just have to keep setting and keep going. I'll take a big handful of radish as well while we're open. With the radish I'm just pulling now, and then we'll sort it when we get up there. There's its name, look, it's Celesta hybrid. Looks okay, but pull plenty, and then the real big ones like this, we'll give those to the chickens obviously, and then we'll use the rest ourselves. Now the spring onions are nearly ready, so what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to pull this handful and this handful, and then just the same as we did the radish, just pull them up, then sort them out when we get them up there, okay? So a gentle pull. I'll wash these before they leave the garden anyway. They'll do nicely, look. I'll just take this odd one as well. I'll just take that one as well because it was only an odd one. And we'll leave the rest to come on a little. While we're here, we'll take a few more of these small beetroot. They're absolutely delicious when they've been boiled. Beautiful on the salads. Just take these nice small ones. We're also thinning them down a bit so the others will come along a bit quicker then. I'll go over the other side, it's easier. One. There's another one, look. I'm trying my best not to break too many of the stalks else they'll bleed, but it's almost impossible to get to them. I'll take that one to thin that. There you are, another little thinning of beetroot. Just at the bed where the butternut squash triangle is, if you like. One or two coming, I'm pleased with that. I've got bigger ones over the other side. There's another one down there as well. As you can see, there's a few of the squashes now coming. And over here as well. So they're doing quite well. I have to keep feeding these into the net to keep them going up. But you have to be very careful because if you twist them too much, they snap quite easily. But they're doing fine, they're alright. While I'm here, I'll take this pair of turnips. At that size, they're absolutely delicious chopped up on your salad. Beautiful. And we finally made it up to the greenhouse. As you can see, the melon is producing some nice melons. I've counted 8, I think, that I can see. There's quite a few on it. The only thing is it's beginning to take over the greenhouse, so what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to cut some of it. Can you see over here where it's going into the tomato? I'm going to have to cut that off else it'll overrun. Now there are small melons on it. So what I should do, I should come with the taping machine and I'll tape it to a frame or some string up here just to hold it. So if we can get another melon or two, we'll get it. We'll not cut them. Now today we need a couple of cucumbers, so we'll take that one and that one, I think. Both quite heavy and they're pulling on the mesh, so we'll take those. They're good weight. I'll pass it to Diane. And this one, which I think is actually heavier, if we can see. There you are, look, a few scratches on that one, but that's fine. Very nice on salads. Now you will find, especially this time of year as the weather now breaks, you will get a lot of mildew on your leaves. There are sprays that you can use. I don't. I just come in and cut those leaves off and take them away. If they start to get white spots or start to deteriorate like that one, look, I just cut it off. I just get the scissors and then I'll cut that off. Can you see where that leaf's deteriorating now? Look, there's a bit of mildew on them as well. What I do, I just take them off. We've got plenty of crop on there now, and there's one or two still coming at the top. So by removing a few leaves, it doesn't harm the plant as such. But I don't want mildew in the house, I just want to get them out. So anything you see that doesn't look quite right, cut it off. Right, I've got my hands clean again. Now while we're here, we've got a few tomatoes that want picking. So I'll get those picked. Peppers aren't ready yet, they're coming along nicely though, no problem there. As you can see, there's quite a few tomatoes there. These sun gold, there's quite a few ready, so I'll pick these and pass them to Di and pop them in that truck. When you're picking the tomatoes, if you look, there's a little node behind the spider, if you like, there. If you just put your finger on that node and pull back, it'll just release. So you're picking them with a nice little green piece on, if you like. It looks better when you pick them, if you can do them like that. There you are, look, you see? They look better with that on. Now I'll pick the rest out of this corner and pass them over, and then we'll show you what we've got. Now we're back down at the shed. We've actually been for a cup of tea before we came down, so I was ready for a cup of tea. Now I don't know if you can hear it, but in the background there's a combine harvester 2 fields away, so I do apologise, but they must combine while they can. It's not too bad at the moment, but when it gets into the field at the side of us, it's a lot of noise and there's a lot of dust. We have to close all the windows in the house, stop the dust coming in from the combines, but they've got to do it, so we'll bear with it. It's one of the down things of living in the country. We'll show you what we've harvested. Very good harvest today. Lovely cucumbers, couple of nice lettuce there. These are little gem, Diane's favourite. She likes little gem. There's not a lot of waste on those. The second pick of the tomatoes, we've had odds and bits out of them, but that's the first real pick, shall we say. The radish, that we've got loads and loads of radish, and it's a hybrid, and it's quite a nice radish. There's some lovely spring onions there. They're called guardsmen. They're a nice spring onion. A couple of turnips, forgot the name. I think they're called purple top. Those very nice. I like them on a salad. It's the only time I eat them. Right, we're having cabbage and cauliflower tonight with, I think we've got some nice pork chops tonight. That'll go down nice. There's an ant on it there. Look, we don't want ants. Some lovely beetroot. I was never a big fan of beetroot until we started using this one. It's only bolt hardy, it's not a hybrid, but it's a beautiful beetroot. I don't know, it's hot weather. And also, as per usual, loads of courgettes. Now that's your harvesting done for this week. Now we need to go and get some gardening done, so we're going to trim back the raspberries, and we're also going to plant some of the runners that are coming off those new strawberry plants that we bought. Now we're in the fruit cage, as you can see, and we're at the new strawberry bed. Now these are the new plants that we bought. They're doing very well, and I've stopped all the flowers this season, but they have actually produced a lot of runners. So I'm going to put the runners into pots, and then we'll double our numbers for the year after next, because it'll take a year to really get a decent plant. Now with two varieties here, so I put one variety, I don't know without checking, I will check when I go up to the house, that one is an early and one is a late. So I put one variety in square pots and a label in one, and the other variety in round pots with a label in one. So I can, if they are two different flowering periods, then we can keep them separate in the new bed. Now these are the runners that I saved to do with you. I think there's about 4. So what we'll do is I put some compost in some pots. Now what I've done to make them a little bit heavier, I've mixed some agricultural sand with the compost, a really good handful in there with them, about handful to a bucket full of compost, until it's quite heavy, so it just holds the pots down a little. If they're too light, they'll just blow over and knocked over easily. Now what to do, I use my knife just to show you. Before I start, I just rag the soil up a little so I can push them in a little bit to, you wouldn't think it was raining last night, look at that, it's as dry as anything. And then I can push them in a little, and it helps stabilise them and will actually keep the bottom moist when they get watered. So let's try there, look like that. There's the 4 we're going to do. I've got some galvanised wire and bent them into U shapes. These are what will be holding them down. So let's sort out and have a look what we do. So I think we've got 4, let's have a look. So we've got 1, take a bit of sorting, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we will do it then. Now what to do, I make a little divot if you like in there. Now you see where this is going to run on, that it'll go and make another one. So we'll just take that off, look, we don't want that on. And then pop the clip behind it, just hold it down, and then sort of squidge the compost a little bit so it's nice and firm. I'll water them in a moment. This one, look, it's just got the runner on there, so same again, a little bit of a hole, just leave the top popping out, push the clip in behind, and there you are, that'll be fine. It just popping out, so that'll root down in no time at all. This one's an easy one, look, can you see where it's growing on again? We'll take that off, we don't want that on, else it'll waste its energy going forward instead of rooting down. If any of them do put another shoot on, once they're rooted down and they put another shoot, you could always put another pot there if you wanted them. And one more, but this one won't reach, so it'll have to go in here. Alright, so again, make a little divot, pop them in. It's got a little shoot coming out, so we'll just nip that off. Put the clip in behind it, press it down, and then just tighten it up like that. So in all, we bought 10 plants of each, and if they all root, we'll finish up with 60. A little bit of water on those. We'll just let that soak in. It has been stood for a while, so it would have been drier than normal. There they go, look. Soaking in nicely now. And I'll just keep an eye on them and water them if need be. Hopefully the rain will do it for us, but I don't think it will today. I'll keep watering them until the root down, and then towards autumn we'll cut them off and we'll probably put them in the cold greenhouse just to establish a bit. Right, we're at the raspberries. These are the new crop that we've put in. These have been their first year cropping, and then these are next year's. These are canes. This is actually called Mildew. These old canes that are flowered and fruited, we now actually need to cut out and leave the new ones ready for next spring. So these are early and those over there are late. So what I normally do is I find them, you can see it's finished, look, and make sure all the ties are cut off, which they are. This one here as well is finished, look, and I just cut the, oh, not with that, that's better. We'll cut that as well because we will be removing that. There's the old cane, look, and this nice young one is the new one that's going to flower for us next year. So we'll just go along the row and cut all the ties on the old canes. Some I can see, some I can't see. There you go, look. But you see, that one's the old, this one here is the new, so we want to swap those over. Keep the new one going up. We've got a little bit, no, I thought it was a bit of aphid on it, but it's not. These ones here is what we sent to Browns because the others had died, and so they replaced them. So that has got little flowers on. You might get a little bit of fruit, but not much. But we're really looking for new canes coming up off those. Not that way. That's better. Right, another one here, look. Just cut it off. I just used jute string on this, so it should cut reasonably easy. Take that off. This one's got a taping machine tie on, so remember, pop that in your pocket. Remember, these are called canes, and those over there, the summer ones, are primo canes. It's easy just to call them earlies and lates, it's easy. Another one here, let's sort this one out best we can. Looks like it better go the other way. Now this is the old one, we've got to get them out if we can. Now it goes from this side to the other side just here, and there's a taping machine tie on, so we'll take that off if we can. That's it, that goes in my pocket. Now because this is this side and that's that side, I'm just going to snap it, and then that can go the other way now. The one we want out. Now I'll change to the secateurs and take those out. There is a little bit of aphid on it, look, so I'll have to get some soapy spray on them. Right down to the ground level, look, and cut off. Same again. There's not many this year, but next year there'll be quite a few, and then the year after even more. Then you will be busy cutting them off. There you are, look, let's take that one off. Right down here, can you see? Right down there at ground level. Just take it off, it's going to die anyway. Now this one here that is just starting to fruit, This is one of the new ones that Brown sent us, but what I'm going to do, I'll cut the strings and remove it and then wait for the next canes to come up. And then I shall remove that. That's come up from the bottom. If you don't, it'll just produce a few raspberries late on and then die off anyway, so it'll have to come out same way. There's a tie on it there. Cut that. There you go. Now what we're left with is all this year's growth. This is what's going to fruit for us next year. You can see some are getting a bit tall now, so I'll show you what you do. If you leave them flapping about all winter, they'll probably snap off, so if you carefully bring them down while they're nice and supple, and if you do them twice, I'm doing it with the taping machine. If you're doing it with the ties, tie them twice so it's got something to hold on. You can, if there was more than this, we'd sort of weave them together as we go, but we haven't got enough this year to do it. So just pull them down and we'll tape on both ends, and that will hold that. And that, this one's not quite ready yet, look, so we'll do that one later. I don't think I could even bend it. If I bend it too tight, it'll snap, so we'll leave that one. Can do these two. Just gently take it down, take the machine up, look, and tie. And another one here just to hold it. Just take a bit of weight off that bend. You see? Likewise again, look, just gently bring it down and push the machine around it and tape it on. And we'll continue with that. As these come up, we'll do the same over again, and then there won't be bashing about in the winter. The other thing we need to do is we need to put a mulch on this. I have put a composty strawy mulch on it, look, just to hold the moisture in there, which it has done beautifully, but this isn't feeding it, so I shall rake that back, put the dressing of good garden compost or well rotted manure on it, and then just rake that back on top to tidy it up. Remember, you can go to about a foot away from the root, and they are very shallow rooted, these are, so they really do need some feed to bring them along. So that'll be it for today. Sun's going down, but it is nice and warm still. And we'll get those garlic plats done tomorrow. We need to get that done. It's lovely and dry in there, dried out now, so we'll get those plaited and get them hung up. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Back down underneath the grapevine, late afternoon, because it's a bit cooler now, and we're going to do the last of the garlic onto strings, a bit of plaiting. Now I've done two, I'll show you those in a minute. It's just one more to do, so I'll do that, and then we're going to nip up and prune a little bit of the top of this vine, and I think that'll about do for this week. So let's get on with this. Now these are the ones I've done. That's just a straight plait, if you like, up there, but this one I've wrapped the raffia round and round and round all the way to make the loop to hang it up. It was just something different, I thought I'd try that, and it's quite good, quite strong. Now this is one I call the flower design. This has been plaited and then turned back, and then a string sleeve put on it just to hold it nice and steady for when it's hanging up. They don't want much more garlic than that on them, but they look nice as they are. They're not huge garlics, but they are hard neck. And these are what we lifted out the garden. I've really dried them out. There's no problem drying them out this year. So we take the garlic, you just take a little bit of the dirty bits off. Not too much, else you'll expose the cloves and then they'll come apart. Just trim the roots, make sure there's no dirt on them as such. It brushes off quite easy. And then I always soften the stem. If a little bit comes off, that's fine. I use raffia to tie them up. Make sure your raffia is dry, because if it's damp, when you've plaited them, they will go fusty. So to get them ready, what I do is I get a length of raffia, and approximately the centre I put a loop on it, and then double back like that, and then just push that up the stem, and then pull it tight, and that's putting the raffia onto the garlic. Okay, there you are. So I've done them all like that. They're all done, various sizes that we got left. I didn't want to do all the same size. Just move this raffia out the way. There you are. So what we'll do, we'll use the biggest at the bottom and then grade them up, and then just do a small plait, just show you how it's done. We'll grade them. We'll start with the biggest at the bottom, and then we'll put one either side, those two I think. Now to get it going, what I normally do, I hold them quite firm and take one of the long raffia's strands, which is this one. Look, we'll select this one off, and then I start binding it quite tight. Now if you want to bring these two together, just do a figure of 8 round them, and then go on again, and then lose that piece of raffia into the run. The easiest way is to make a loop, pull it through, and then pull it, and then add it to the rest like that. Then we'll do, make sure they're nice and flat. The two of the next one, these are all quite small now, but we'll use them anyway. Push them in like you want them, like that, and do the same again. So take it in your hand, get them in position, take a longish piece of the raffia up and wrap it round quite tight, and then do figure 8 if need be, look, just to hold it nice and firm, and then put a loop, feed it through, not your finger though, like me, my finger's too big. That's it. Put it through the loop and pull tightish, don't put too tight because it's not very strong. Then add it to the group, and so we've got a little group of 7 forming. These are a bit odd shaped, but we're alright. 2 more then, look. Now these are very, very small now, but they'll be fine. So same again. Get them in position, and just take a piece of the raffia that's quite long. We'll have this one, look, and then start by wrapping it round quite tight, and then figure of 8 a few times if you like, and then wrap it again, and then round to the loop and pull nice and tight, then add it to the rest. That's the base done, and now what we do, keep this is the last tie, so we'll do that one twice just to make sure it grips, and then we'll just start, divide it into 3 and plait it off. Okay, now I'm not the best plaiter in the world, but I'll try my best with this. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Quite tight and quite neat if you can. I'm not, as I say, I'm not the best one at this, but If all your three groups are about the same, you should be alright. Just keep your end from tangling. It does tangle quite easy. And then just keep plaiting. Now if you see little bits sticking out, don't worry about those, because when we finish you just go down with the scissors and take them off, okay? Just nice and tidy if you can. You have to do it quite tight and it will tangle behind you. Just keep it as tidy as you can. It's no problem. Now you just keep going. As you get towards the end, it should get a bit smaller, look, as you keep it tight as you can. And then what I do, there you go. Get all your loose ends in if they'll go in. If they don't, doesn't matter. But keep going, tighter and tighter, until you start to run out of raffia. That's about it, I think. Now make a nice turn on the end. So we find a nice thick piece if we can. Wrap it round a couple of times. And then through the loop and pull. This will just hold it steady while you do it. Through the loop and pull. I'll do it 3 times and then we know it'll hold. It's very slippery stuff, raffia, so it doesn't knot very well. We're going to bring that round and tie it onto here. So we'll cut this off now, we don't need this long tail. There you are. It's quite tough. There you go. So we cleared the table now. Now I saved some of the raffia. Quite long this is, but it doesn't matter. And what we'll do, we'll take that round like that, and then we're going to put a tie on it to hold it in place. Now what I find is, if you do it, if you put a loop like that on, you see, and then you start wrapping from the top till you get to the bottom, and then you pull that to put it inside. I'll show you how it's done, it's perhaps easier to show you. So put that with that, I'll just put a loose tie on it just to hold it. Just put this on loose, and then it's not going to be jumping all over while I'm showing you. And we'll tie that off. We've put a double knot in it so it holds it. That's it, we just take that bit off. These little bits, look, you just take those off. It's easier to do when we're finished, but I'll show you now, and then you see how it tidies it up. Now to put this on to make it look tidy, I've done this one with string, but we'll do this one with raffia. It should look a lot tidier. So start at the top, just above where you want to finish is about there. Then if you go to the bottom, I'll just put a twist in it and then it'll stay together. It says, if you just put a twist in it, look, so I can leave a loop at the bottom, and then from just below that knot that's the marker for me, what I should do, which is quite difficult to show you, but I'll show you when I get it going a little bit. So grip that, and this I actually start wrapping round, okay? You'll find it better if as you go you put a twist in it. Right, then overlap so you're going tidy, you see? And then overlap again they are quite tight. Then when you get to here, I don't know if you can see this, this loop that we left behind, what we're going to do is put this raffia through that loop. Okay, this is where you need a third end. I'll just put some twists in it so it holds it better. Perhaps if it wasn't so long it would be better. Let's reduce it a bit, that's easier. So we're going to put this through that loop there, you see, and then pull, and make sure everything's tidy, and pull quite tight to really tighten this up like that. Then the end that we started with will pull. If you watch that, you'll see it disappear inside and it'll take this with it, you see. Then that's a bit that should have been took off. Then this is the end we wrapped, so we take that off. Just give it a little gentle pull to pull that the end inside your tie back. Then take that off. Then just tidy it up. You just take the little bits off now that's sticking out, make it look tidy. Not too much, because it is a little bit of a rustic thing. See that piece sticking up? We don't want that on the way. And there you are. There you are. A raffia plait with a loop at the top so you can hang it up in the kitchen or pantry, or in the shed in this case. Then as you come to use it, you can take bits off all the way down. So there's our garlic on its plaits, or tied in this case. Not the best plaiting in the world, but I'm sure you can do a lot better than that. If you got some that the cloves are coming loose a bit and exposed like that, they do snap off easy. These, they'll go up first and you use those first. Just enough to what we'll need. It goes quite a long way. Now we're at the top of the grapevine. There's some clouds building up. I do hope we get some rain. Now you can see all these, I've done all the rest. As you can see out there, look, I've been across the top. I got about a wheelbarrow full off it, so you can see how much we're really cutting off this vine. It's all growth like this. There's no vine on it, there's no grapes on it, so I can go quite low and cut them off. And what I'm going to do is actually just drop them through and then tidy up afterwards. But if you can see, there's quite a few to go. If there are grapes on it, you go down to one bud above the grapes and cut off. If you didn't do this, I'm afraid it would go absolutely crazy. Some of these small ones like this, next week they'll be as big as those that we just cut off. Now with such a dry hot spell and the grapevine's done so well, I've looked into it and I've actually read that the grapevine roots can go 25 feet down into the soil. So while everything at the top is struggling, the vine can go deep down and find the moisture, and some vines actually go deeper than that. So that's why the grapevine's doing so well in such adverse weather. That's the whole lot done now. I left this corner so I could just show you what I was up to. As you can see, there's plenty of grapes on it, far too many grapes. I'll have to tin those. That's done now, and I think in about a week I should be up here doing it again. Now if you can see that beautiful cloud up there, I just hope it drops a little bit of rain for me, like 2 days worth. Now we're back on terra firma. It's a bit wobbly on those ladders. That'll be about it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Many thanks for subscribing, and many thanks for watching, and hopefully We'll see you next week. Bye now.